Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025, and we're here this morning for our Administrative Matters meeting, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, I call this meeting to order. We want to welcome everyone who's here. We will begin. Our first agenda item is public comment, and we have Phoebe McWilliams signed up for public comment. So Phoebe, will have you come up. We'll have you introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, please.
My name is Phoebe McWilliams. I'm a native of Fort Collins, and I'm a volunteer for Unite for Freedom. I'm not their major spokesperson. I am one of over 3,000 volunteers in 24 states that have invested over 50,000 hours in weekly online federal election laws discussions and training sessions. These findings have been reported to federal and state agencies for investigation. Colorado is one of 9 states where federal mandamus lawsuits have been filed. I am here today to share critical information regarding our state's voter rolls and voter history for the 24 general election. This information comes from extensive research conducted by a team of data experts at Unite for Freedom, a nationwide, nonpartisan volunteer organization. Our team meticulously analyzed official election files using only official state election data. I'm deeply concerned by the Colorado findings, which include 1,341,406 material errors and omissions in the voter registration database, 52,016 votes improperly counted from these ineligible or uncertain registrants, 34,223 fewer votes counted than the number of voters, 51,903 voting violations exceeding the legal error threshold, where only 26 errors are allowed under federal law for Colorado elections. Unite for Freedom is not alone in raising these concerns. Recent executive actions at the federal level, such as the executive order entitled Preserving and Protecting the Integrity of American Elections, underscores the urgent need to enforce and clarify existing election laws. These directives are intended to guide state compliance and ensure that election crimes are prosecuted because the integrity of our electoral system is at stake. Therefore, we are here to seek your awareness, understanding, support, and action. We will provide you with a resolution that highlights these key statistics and calls for an end to the inaccuracies and uncertainties that compromise our elections. By adopting this resolution, you will demonstrate your commitment to your constituents' concern and your dedication to upholding voters' civil rights and the integrity of our elections here in Larimer County. The right to choose our representatives through lawful and transparent elections is the cornerstone of our constitutional republic. Mr. Kavalas, you have stated that our votes are sacrosanct. Please take this serious. It is imperative to address these issues now. If we do not act, the same election systems and procedures that led to errors in 22 and 24 will likely produce similar results in the upcoming 26th general election. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. I neglected to, any comments after the speaker? Oh, is there anybody else in the audience who wanted to speak? Seeing none, Sarah, is there anyone who wanted to call in with public comment?
No, Commissioner.
Bring it back to the commissioners. Commissioner, any comments?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Good morning. Thank you, Phoebe. Thank you. You have succeeded in increasing our awareness. I think you've raised these issues before. I think we are agreed upon the importance of our freedom and voting integrity. We defer to our clerk and recorder, the Clerks Association. The numbers you shared are pretty significant, and they differ from our understanding of how our elections have been conducted in Colorado. And if there was that level of voting violations and everything else, I think we would hear about it from our clerk as well as others around the state. But thank you, blessings to you. Yes, our votes are sacrosanct. Sacrosanct. I think I pronounced that properly. Forgive me. That is all I have to say, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Phoebe. Thanks for being here. And
Sacrosanct.
yeah, I do believe that our voting system works in Colorado, and but you're certainly welcome to take things up with the clerk. With that, I did neglect to introduce everyone, so I'll say to my right, I'm Kristen Stevens, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. With me is my fellow commissioner, Commissioner John Kafalis. From the clerk's office, we have Diane Cheney helping us with record keeping. We have our assistant county manager with us this morning, Lori Kadrich, Tom Clayton from Public Affairs, and Sarah Martin from the Commissioner's office. So, sorry, colleagues, did not mean to do that. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. Commissioner Kafalis, will you make that motion?
And Madam Chair, before we continue, I just received a text from someone who's listening saying that the background music is still on, so I don't know if this is broadcasting properly.
Thank you, Commissioner. I was able to stop the music. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you had a good selection of music. That's all I can say. But no, thank you.
Disco morning.
Thank you. A little bit bumpy here and there.
That's right. We're okay.
I can do the motion here.
Perfect.
I move to approve the minutes for the 2 weeks, for the weeks of November 3rd and November 10th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. And our colleague, Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally, is going to Washington, D.C. for a fly-in to advocate for rural communities. And so she is not with us this morning. But we'll move on to our upcoming schedule review, and we'll have Sarah do that, help us with that.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for November 24th through the 28th, 2025. On Monday, November 24th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a Commissioner's retreat regarding the 2026 budget in Arrowhead Lake in the conference room on the 4th floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioner's conference room on the 2nd floor. On Tuesday, November 25th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the 1st floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be Administrative Direction to County Management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the 2nd floor. From 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will volunteer at the Fort Collins Rescue Mission Thanksgiving Banquet at the First Presbyterian Church at 531 South College Avenue in Fort Collins. On Wednesday, November 26th, from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., Commissioners Kafalis and Shattuck McNally may attend the North Fort Collins Business Association meeting at the Rocky Mountain Innisphere at 320 East Vine Drive in Fort Collins. On Thursday, November 27th, county offices will be closed in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday, and on Friday, November 28th, county offices will be closed in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday.
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioner, any corrections or additions?
Just one potential correction, and that is, as I already stated to Sarah, I don't believe we have a North Fort Collins Business Association meeting next Wednesday at 7 a.m., the 26th, and I've just texted. I'll confirm that and let you know afterwards. That's the only thing, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, I don't have any additions, and hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. So we'll move on to our consent agenda. I'll read through that. We have 6 agreements on the consent agenda. The first is an agreement for jail services, which allows and describes the terms covering the holding of municipal sentenced and pre-sentence offenders from the town of Timnath. The total dollar amount on this is $241.84 per inmate per day, which is paid to the County of Larimer for housing municipal sentenced offenders. The next is an amended and restated Longview Professional Service and Operational Agreement Behavioral Health Services seeking approval and signature on the amended and restated Longview Professional Service and Operational Agreement between the Board of County Commissioners and Summit Stone Health Partners. The approved 2025 budget will carry forward into 2026 until replaced by mutual agreement of the parties. And the total dollar amount is over $23 million. That term, until amended, would run through December 31st of 2028. We have an intergovernmental agreement for assessment and collection of fire impact fees. Larimer County and Loveland Fire and Rescue Authority entered into an agreement in 2018 by which the county assessed, collected, and remitted impact fees on behalf of the Loveland Fire Rescue Authority. A new development within their jurisdiction that lies within the county. And due to a change in state statutes, the county and Loveland Fire Rescue wish to terminate the original agreement and enter into this agreement. We have a software as a service agreement. The current Tyler Technologies contract is over 10 years old, and this will replace the old contract. Total dollar amount is approximately $599,000. We have a development agreement for the Jacobs Conservation Development, file number 21, Land 4170. This is approval for a development agreement for the Jacobs Conservation Development, which is a subdivision of 35 acres into two lots, one 15-acre and one 18-acre lot. And finally, we have a restated intergovernmental agreement for the Estes Park Local Marketing District. This updates an intergovernmental agreement between the town of Estes Park and Larimer County regarding the local marketing district known as Visit Estes Park. We originally entered into an IGA with the town in August of 2008. The current update reduces the amount of Visit Estes Park directors, creates a marketing advisory committee, adds a requirement for Visit Estes Park to include policy and bylaw compliance reports, requires them to submit the organization's line item budget by December 31st of each year, sets up a March 2nd, 2026 deadline for the Board of Directors to review and approve its bylaws and present those bylaws to the town and county. The next is appointments. We have 10 appointments. We have a reappointment to the Behavioral Health Consumer Advisory Committee for Glenda Castle and Michael Ellis for terms that will end November 30th, 2028. An appointment to the Behavioral Health Consumer Advisory Committee for Ashley Jones for a term that will end November 30th, 2028. A reappointment to the Behavioral Health Policy Council for Jason Grashorn with a term that will end November 30th, 2028. Recommended midterm appointment to the Board of Adjustment for Shanna Garcia and Tom Wood would both have terms ending June 30th, 2027. 3 recommended appointments to the Fair Board for Christy Bashong, Brittany Saffel, and RJ Saffel. Their terms will end November 30th, 2028. Midterm appointment to the Carriage Hills General Improvement District for Zachary Zeshin. Appointment runs through November 30th, 2027. And a reappointment to the Eagle Ranch Estates Public Improvement District for Kurt Long with a term that ends November 30th, 2029. Midterm appointment to the Little Valley General Improvement District for Scott Stewart with a term that ends November 30th, 2028. Reappointment to the Prairie Trails Public Improvement District for Jamie Weinrauch with a term ending November 30th, 2029. And finally, a recommended appointment to the Behavioral Health Technical Advisory Committee for Shannon Hughes with a term that ends November 30th, 2028. Just want to extend our thanks to everyone who serves on a board and commission and who's gone through that process to be appointed. We appreciate your service to our community, and it's very important. It helps us do our jobs better, so well done. We have one letter of support for the Colorado Energy Office. This is for an Energy Code Adoption Enforcement Grant application. We heard a little bit about this yesterday at our work session. Larimer County has adopted the most recent building codes, and many of our municipal partners municipal partners will adopt these updated codes before January 1st of next year. Enforcement of these updated codes, including the Colorado Model Electric Ready and Solar Ready Code, will benefit increased energy efficiency and decreasing greenhouse gas emissions. The county will be assisting our partner municipalities to educate contractors, train inspectors, and establish coordinated processes for plan review, documentation, verification, inspection, permitting, and enforcement through grant funds that support hiring a new energy compliance specialist position. So this grant would be funding that position that would not only help the county but neighboring jurisdictions. So we are hopeful for that grant. We have 2 liquor licenses. One is a liquor license report of changes for the Rock Inn in Estes Park, and that is for a brew pub license. And one is a liquor license renewal for Young's Liquor outside of Fort Collins, and that is a retail liquor store license. We have 3 miscellaneous items. The first 2 are stipulation as to tax year 2025 values, and you can find more about that online. The third is a warranty memorandum for Linda Vista subdivision. That is a 2-year warranty period for all improvements that are required to be constructed pursuant to a development agreement. And that expires on November 4th, 2027. We have 2 resolutions. The first resolution is declaring Larimer County Public Improvement District Thunder Mountain 76. This is approving a public improvement district which was on the ballot, and the majority voted in favor of this organization. And the last resolution is also a public improvement district for Nedra Acres, number 77, and that also passed, and the majority voted in favor of that organization. So that is it for the consent agenda. Commissioner, would you want to remove anything from the consent agenda?
I would not.
I do not either. So with that, I'll ask you to make the motion for this item.
Thanks again, Madam Chair. I move to approve the consent agenda for November 18th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on any of these items? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. I don't have a guest. I don't believe you have a guest either. So we will move on to discussion items, and there are none of those. So we're just ticking along here. We have the county manager update, and so Assistant County Manager Lori Cadridge, would you have an update for us?
The only thing that I would like to share is my thanks to all the county employees for their service in honor of Thanksgiving holiday week next week, and our appreciation to the commissioners for having a 2-day holiday rather than a 1-day holiday. Also, I would draw everyone's attention to the county manager's monthly video, which talks about things to be thankful for working for the county. So if you need a little pick-me-up video, that would be a good one to watch. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. All right, we'll move on to Commissioner activity reports. Commissioner, do you have a report?
I'll just mention one thing real quick since we're doing okay, and that is I participated in the, it was on Friday night in Old Town, organized by the Family Housing Network. It was the longest night memorial. It's basically to honor the lives of people who have died this past year in Larimer County or in northern Colorado due to their being homeless. And I think it was hard to keep track, but there might have been about close to 20 names that were mentioned. And I was there. It was good to be there with my wife, and Aaliyah was there as well. And I shared a few words. They asked me to speak.
Thank you for doing that. That's great. I don't have a lot to I guess the only thing that I will share is that on Tuesday, all the commissioners attended a veterans breakfast at Community Corrections. So we were able to not only thank the staff that are veterans, of which there are several, but people that are in Community Corrections that have served our country. And so that's always a meaningful breakfast to attend, and that was a great way to cap off Veterans Day. So really appreciated the people that attended and learning their stories and learning about their service, and I think we all enjoyed that. With that, I will just remind folks that I do want to wish people a happy Thanksgiving. I also want to say that the holidays are really difficult for some people in our community. It is not always a happy time. Not everyone enjoys the holidays. They can bring back bad memories. And so I want to remind people to reach out for help if you need help during the holidays or at any time. Colorado 988 is a service that you can use to get help. But Amy, do you mind if I put you on the spot to talk for a second about the services that you provide to the drop-in services if people are in crisis?
Yeah, I'm happy to, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Because we live in a community that values behavioral health and everyone invests in services available to all people in our community, Longview Acute Behavioral Health Care Facility offers an urgent care for behavioral health needs. Anyone struggling with suicidal ideation or in a self-defined crisis can receive assessment and care 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, including holidays. So we're incredibly thankful to have that resource available in our community.
And it's right on the corner of Taft Hill and...
Yes, 2260 West Trilby Road, Taft Hill and Trilby at the
Perfect.
intersection there.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Amy, since you were there and we were all there, could you just say another resource where there was a ribbon cutting on Veterans Day?
Yes, at
Poudre
Poudre
Valley
Valley
Hospital.
Hospital. Yes, they have expanded their behavioral health care beds, expanding that resource at the hospital as well, which is also open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but you did wonderfully, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'm really glad that people understand those services. If they need those, please do reach out. Also, I know that the police department and the sheriff's department are always available to do well checks on people. So if you have a concern with somebody, they can go and help check that out. So with that, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. That is all the business to come before this board. And at maybe a record time, 9:22 a.m., we are adjourned. Thank you.